children and a woman for her disciples reach new heights when the theological ground underneath is rock solid. A mother's love is a powerful gift. Hallmark cards agree with me on that one. But where does this gift come from? What kind of gift is it? Why do we experience it? Where is it going? I want to show you in this book that the everyday ministry of motherhood is part of God's mission. The nature of our nurture is mission. Motherhood is a gift because it is a reminder that life is a gift. God did not create motherhood as just a list of to-dos. God did not create motherhood as just a sentimental greeting card. God did not create motherhood as a trifling, negligible just. Question 4 of the Westminster Shorter Catechism says, God is a spirit, infinite, eternal, and unchangeable, in his being, wisdom, power, holiness, justice, goodness, and truth. Nothing he does or wills could possibly be inconsequential or petty. No woman made in God's image, made for God's mission, could be just a mom. Missional motherhood is a strategic ministry designed by God to call people to worship the one who is seated on the throne in heaven. I'm excited to explain that idea more because it thrills my heart when I remember it. To think that God has called me to meaningful mission in my motherhood and that it is all of grace blows me away. This book has one main point in a 2-part outline that is held together by an introduction and a conclusion, which are like 2 bookends. Here's the book summary in 1 sentence. Jesus invites women to missional motherhood, to follow his pattern, to trust his promises, and to nurture others by the power he provides. When you unpack a suitcase after a trip, you tend to go straight for what you need right away. Perhaps you go straight for your toothbrush or your medication and leave the dirty laundry for later. You bring out what you need first. So first, we look at an explanation of why missional motherhood is for every woman, not just biological or adoptive mothers, because mother is a verb too. We see in the rest of Part 1 the foundation for missional motherhood, which is really just a flyover retelling of the big story with an eye for how God has revealed his missional pattern for motherhood and gives promises regarding his plan. After that, in Part 2, we study the implications of the big story for our missional motherhood. In those chapters, we look at some of the many ways Christian moms all over the world display God's pattern and claim God's promises as they make Christ's disciples. Lastly, of course, I have a conclusion, which is the second bookend. In the end of motherhood, we'll see that missional motherhood is about a man. We're going on a high-flying adventure as we scan the Bible to see God's handiwork in creating and sustaining motherhood for his mission of glorifying himself in all the earth. Recently, I saw a video on YouTube of an eagle being released from the top of the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, with a GoPro camera strapped to its body. The footage they caught from the camera is overwhelming. Soaring on the winds and lifted high over the horizon where the sea meets the sky, angling wings to steer into a new panoramic view of the Arabian desert, dipping dramatically over the metropolis below. It's all there. I hope that reading this book is kind of like watching that perspective-shaping video. God has placed each of us in different families, churches, denominations, cities, countries, cultures, and seasons. We've been given strengths and weaknesses, responsibilities and privileges. I'm a mom of 4 kids, and the good works that God has prepared for me to walk in are being played out in and around an 8th-floor flat in the Old Town neighborhood in Dubai, a diverse city in the Middle East. One of my friends and fellow church members is an older single woman who works in a corporate office, travels a lot, and engages her coworkers in Bible study. Our missional mothering looks different in our contexts, but the source and goal of our ministry is the same. The 2 of us may be aware of 1 or 2 things God is doing in our ministries at any given moment, but only he knows the breadth and depth of his activity in and through us. I'll explain more in the introduction how this book is for every woman in her everyday ministry, and I do hope that groups of women will read it together. I'm praying that you will find an opportunity to sit down with a cinnamon scone and a dear sister in Christ. If you could only find